Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and continue.
So, Sadhguru, our mothers have set amazing benchmark.
The moment you say mothers,
Yeah.
they're giving a sound ambience of babies crying.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
That's the halo effect, I think. Yeah. So they've set a quite a big benchmark of being an ideal wife. However, I, or girls of my generation, feel that we cannot be as good as wife as my mother has been, or our mothers have been. So should I feel that I am falling short of my personal life, or should I feel that I'm not giving enough justice to my marriage once I'm married? How should I feel about this?
How should you feel about something that you're not involved with yet? I think you're thinking too much into it. I think you first need to find, again, coming this off the top of my head. Can I be wrong about this? Absolutely. I could definitely be wrong, but let me just spit this out here. Um, you should find someone that you genuinely want to be with, and someone that genuinely wants to be with you. And there's where you figure how to be what you need to be. You can learn a lot of things preemptively: how to cook, how to clean, how to wash, how to do whatever jobs. Your mother can help you with that. I mean, that's what parents and grandparents are for, really. I mean, obviously hopefully they want to be involved in your life because you're their child or you're their grandchild, and they want to be there with their grandchild or great grandchild. Because it's a family thing, and and then if you want to work, how you can. The beauty about having hopefully close families is that they can look out. Your family can look after your kids. Again, depending on what you want to do. Although I'll say this, I don't think it's a great idea necessarily. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a baby scientist or whatever. To leave your babies with strangers, or with friends per se. I mean, it's not to say your friends are going to do anything bad, but I guess it's more of a personal thing. Like, I think your baby being with family is more important. So that the connection can grow between the family as opposed to your baby growing a connection with your friends or strangers. And it's kind of it's kind of happening in the United States where both parents are working and the child's being shipped off to daycare. So the good thing is they're being introduced to other people and having social aspect, but the bad thing is the fact that they're being raised by strangers to a lot of degrees. So, and this is I guess the kind of reason why I think women, again, my personal opinion, and something I would say to say my daughter, would be it's like it's generally I think a better idea. As someone also said this to have a child when you're relatively young, but of course the most important thing is to find the right person first. Not to just have a child, but find the right person. And the reason why having it young is because, say you have it when you're 20, 18, just say 18, super young. 20 years, you raise that child. Your child's now 20 years old, fully grown adult. You're 38 now. You can start your career and go full blown on the career without any interruption. Whereas if you were to have your child later, and then you have to figure out, whether you go to their games or whether you have to, look out for them. You might have to take time off work. You have to you pause your career. A lot of interruptions when you work your job. You get to a certain point, and you have to kind of pause it because you want to have a baby and family and all that. Again, everyone is up to you and when you want to have a baby, but I highly suggest, you know, well, don't take my suggestions per se, but I think it might be easier when you're younger, relatively speaking. But again, regardless of when you have it, the most important is finding someone that genuinely you two want to be with each other. So that above all else, more so than having the baby. Anyways, um, how should you feel? Well, I don't know. If you want to be a mother, you should be excited. Don't measure yourself up like he. As a matter of fact, I believe it's the last question. Don't start comparing yourself to other people. Look to other people as examples of how to do things. that doesn't necessarily mean what they do is going to be great for your baby or for yourself. Um, Ask for help if you need it, but you learn as you go. That's how most people have done it throughout the years. It's it's kind of the charm of it a little bit. It's weird to say that. Figuring out how to raise the baby on your own. It's like, do you push this button or this button? I don't know. Just push this button, see what happens. Crap came out when I pushed that button. Oh God, it's just I don't want to say excitement, but you and your loved one raising a child together, trying to figure out, and just crapping all over the place. It's stinky, smelly, but you know what? It's something. It'll be a fond memory that you'll have when your baby's grown up. You'll be missing those kind of things. But again, if your parents and grandparents are there, they can help you out, teach you certain tricks that they've learned while raising you while you're pooping too. I talk too much.
Our center in the United States is in Tennessee. Tennessee is a little one kind of state, okay. Mary Makowski, that's not Romanian, right? Okay. Mary Makowski got married. And after their honeymoon, they came home and she threatened him that she's going to make a dinner all by herself. I'm sorry, she said she'll make dinner for the new husband. And husband came home from work and she served the dinner and he put it in his mouth and slowly he was chewing on it and went into profound thought. Then she was very excited about this dinner and she said, there are only two things my mother taught me how to cook, the meatloaf and the apple pie. Then he looked at her and said, darling, which one is this?
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh that loud.
So, your mother, your grandmother, how they made good wives? Largely it was believed the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Today your husband will call Uber Eats and whatever, Quick Picks and this and that and Swiggies and whatever, all right?
No. Oh, no. If you have, like… I don't know why I'm going to say this, but why not? No, if I have a wife that can cook amazing, that'd be great, because I also want to cook. I would love us to be able to cook together. Mind you, I'm going to be cooking meat though, so for those of you, I'd cook meat, essentially. But yeah, I mean, it's a it can be a shared experience. Obviously, I won't necessarily be able to cook all the time, but I think, I think if your wife cooks, or your husband cooks, or whoever cooks, it should be shown appreciation. And I think honesty should matter. You could say doesn't taste that good. You don't want to necessarily eat something that's very bad, because again, for me, again, I genuinely believe in honesty. If there's something wrong with something, I'd rather you hurt my feelings and let me know the truth than to me continuing to cook it the way that you don't like it. Because and what I could do again is if I like this way but you don't, I could cook two separate ways. Cook the way I like it and cook the way you like it. Because I'd rather cook something that you like than to cook something that you don't like and you're just kind of forcing yourself to eat it. That's terrible. That's worse than not liking my cooking. But again, appreciate it, of course. But too much salt, not enough salt, too much pepper, or etc., etc.
So, you can't make a good wife based on how your grandmother became a good wife. You can't become a good wife based on how your mother became a good wife. Situations have changed, expectations have changed. It's not in the stomach anymore. For some it's gone up into the head, for some it's gone further south.
I'm sorry, God.
Yes. So, you don't do that. Essentially, what a husband and wife means is, because you're not geared, most people are not geared, very few people in this world are geared to make this journey of life all by themselves. They're organized enough within themselves totally. They never feel anything missing in their life because they've made themselves like that. But most people need somebody else to lean on. either emotionally, psychologically. There are needs in a human being, physical needs, psychological needs, emotional needs, maybe social needs, economic needs, variety of needs. To fulfill these needs, you want to find one person that you can depend on. Because it's very difficult even to find one person with whom you can share everything that you have, your body, mind, emotion and works. So this is the idea. Formalizing it is so that every time you get some little friction, you don't fall apart, so little tying up so that things don't fall apart very easily, all right?
And I was going to say something else. You said something a little bit earlier, but I've forgotten now. But about the tying up part, like, trust me. At least from what I can see, men still really, really appreciate a woman who knows how to cook, willing to cook and clean and all that. Obviously, it's not a relationship. It's not one-sided. This is the biggest thing I can tell people. You're supposed to find someone that complements you, that can take on the things that you can't, so that, and mind you, that goes to opposite too, where I take on the things that you can't, and I take on the things that you can. Almost like I said that twice. But we complement each other. We fulfill what we're lacking to each other. So, but the thing, in feminism, especially the third wave, I think probably mostly the third wave, or westernized women in general too, see womanly things as disgusting or I don't know, inferior or terrible or something like that. It's really kind of strange. Not all, of course, but these are things that men really appreciate. And if men appreciate it, then those things are really, really horrible. But the thing is, though, is that they don't ever look at what men provide and they say, no, that's expected. That's not something we should appreciate. It's a really twisted way of looking at things. They don't look at things as what can we do for each other. It's more along the lines where they're looking at things as what can you do for me. Not what I can provide, but what can you do for me, and then what I can do for myself. So it goes along the lines of what you earn, it's ours, and what I earn is mine. So if you earn a lot of money, it's ours. If I earn a lot of money, it's mine. It's the kind of mentality to have, this selfishness, and it's not a good thing. The divorce rate's really high. Now, don't explain to me about India, about the even with the fixed marriages and everything. There was actually an Indian person over here, and they're having trouble with their marriage, but they're not going to get a divorce. So just because you don't get a divorce doesn't mean that the marriage is working out. So this is the thing, that even if there's a low divorce rate, that doesn't necessarily mean the marriage is happy either. So. I mean, again, I know he explained the divorce rate in India is really low, but that doesn't necessarily say a lot either. I wouldn't doubt that majority of marriages in India is probably really happy, and I wouldn't doubt that majority of marriages are how to say this. Majority of marriages are really happy, and that percentages is significantly higher than, say, even Western countries in general, because again, this mentality that the Western people have is starting to fester and grow into what can you do for me, as opposed to what can we do for each other. And I wouldn't doubt that happening in just across the world in general, especially in highly developed areas. Yeah, highly developed areas. So you look at the major cities, the one that has like all the technologies, all the development. I wouldn't doubt that people in general are having this selfish attitude. No matter the country, it has something to do with this developedness. Maybe. At least that's what's going on in the West. But it's also this movement with it that's making it terrible.
Nothing else. The biggest mistake humanity made was, they started saying marriages are made in heaven, that's why it's such a mess. What's done here? If you see, marriages are made between us. and we took responsibility for who we are, we could have made it work. But the damn thing is made in heaven. Not suitable here, it's because it's alien stuff. Everything is a mess because you think it's made elsewhere by somebody else. If you understand it's made by you for your well-being, to fulfill your needs and your purposes so that you can go through this journey of life with least amount of trouble and friction, then you would handle it more responsibly, isn't it? And according to contemporary needs, not how your grandmother did her marriage. You can't do it that way because expectations and situations have completely altered themselves. So, if you hold somebody who is your friend and who is your need, you must understand. You are in this relationship because you need. Maybe the other person also needs, but that's from their side. As far as you are concerned, you made this relationship because you need it badly, isn't it? If you understand and you're always grateful for this, that somebody is fulfilling all your need, you would handle it well. You wouldn't make a misery out of it. But now you think somebody else needs you, then you will make a mess out of it. You understand you need it. Well, the other person also needs to understand he needs it. Now there is a cohesion. If you think, oh, you need me, so I'm going to exploit you, no. This is not about you squeezing happiness out of somebody or they squeezing happiness out of you. If two happy people meet, then there can be something wonderful happening between them. But you are a misery and you think somebody else should be the source of your happiness, well, it'll multiply.
Interesting. I would have said that, I mean, like if you need something from me and you're the person that I want to be with, then I would want to fulfill that need. It's an appreciation, not as a, again, it's the intent of the matter. If you need emotional support or whatever, and I can provide that for you, that's you needing something from me. I could provide that for you, and because you're the significant other, then that would make me happy that I can do something for you. So it's a selfless reason to do that. It's not that, oh, I'm going to do that so I can exploit. So again, intent to me matters a lot in there. So doing something for someone, again, it's according to Swami Sarvapriyananda, whenever they talk to scientists, is the third most happiness, the third most thing that can provide you happiness. I think buying you stuff is the least happiness that you can get. You'll make you happy temporarily, and then it's old news. Next thing is doing a job, I believe, will provide you some sort of happiness. And then doing something for other people will give you the greatest happiness. And then the fourth thing for Advaita Vedanta is, of course, enlightenment, where it's permanent happiness. All these three are temporary, but each of them lasts longer and longer. So buying you things, again, very materialistic world in the West, and where you see these fancy people, rich people, buying things all the time to constantly try to make themselves happy. Doing a job that provides service, even though it's not the service that you want to do, it still can provide you some happiness, a purpose in life. And then doing things for other people willingly will provide you the greatest happiness in terms of the material realm.
Can I quickly add on this, because I think we share the border and the culture. I can relate to what she's saying. So I think what she meant is that our mothers have put certain expectations, and that is, as men, what we have seen as well growing up. And that is what I think is, as even younger generation, we are millennials, but we've seen our mothers treat our fathers in a certain way. And maybe as men, we also do expect that now. Whereas she, as a woman, is not...
Yeah, for me, I cannot do what you want, huh? And if my future husband is seeing this...
She is from the wrong side of the border.
I'm lost a little bit there.
Well, see, this become a habit in everybody, that everything, the shortcomings that we have, we would like God to take it, usually. That's why people invented somebody up there. Everything that I do wrong, it's God's will. Everything that I do right, of course I did it. So the next level of passing the buck is the parents, genetics. A little boy, 8-year-old boy, one day came up to his dad and asked, "Father, where is all my intelligence coming from? Where does my intelligence come from?"
Oh
So the
gosh.
father said, "It must be from your mother,
Oh.
because mine is intact."
I thought he was gonna say, it's coming from me. And then the boy's gonna ask, where's all my stupidity come from? It must be from your mother, or something like that.
So, everybody wants to pass it somewhere. This is the most fundamental thing. If you want to blossom as a human being, this is the most fundamental thing, that you understand. For everything that you are and everything that you are not is fundamentally your responsibility. All the things that you are, all the things that you are not yet, only if you see I'm responsible, you will explore the full depth of possibilities that you hold. Otherwise, I got bad genes, so what can I do? God is, sitting and standing, you guys are talking God, this is happening everywhere, in different ways, in some cultures more, some cultures less. Whenever something doesn't happen, God's will. This has to stop. This is my fundamental mission. Religion to responsibility. Only when every human being sees, for all the damn things that we are and all the things that we are not, we are responsible, we could become a great society, a great humanity, a great generation of people. Otherwise, everything that we do, of course, very proud of that. Whatever we could not do, how convenient is it? If that is not invisible, of course parents, next level. No, you must understand this. Whatever has come to you, whichever way it's come to you, still what you make out of it is still yours, isn't it? Hello? Whole lot of people, even if you bowl a googly, they hit a sixer, some of them. You know what I'm talking? Even if the worst ball is bowled to you, you still make much out of it if you know how to do it, isn't it? A whole lot of people, when the worst possible situations were thrown at them in their lives, they have risen into phenomenal human beings, haven't they? Huh? You have examples, Mahatma Gandhis, Nelson Mandelas, many like this all over the world at different levels. These may be famous ones, but there are many unknown ones all over the place. Isn't it so? In every society, there are many men and women like this. When the worst of situations were thrown at them, the best came out of them. But others complained, others pointed fingers at somebody else, some took it upon themselves. Look at nature and see, if you throw the worst kind of filth to a flowering plant, see, this is what comes out. If you throw filth, fragrance will come out. Should this not be your intelligence too? What world throws at you is not your choice. Something gets thrown at you. What you make out of it is yours, 100%.
What I understood from that too was the fact that it says, you're responsible for essentially what you are and what you are not. Meaning that if you're a bad person, you're responsible for that. If you are not a bad person, you are also responsible for that. Meaning that if you are a bad person, you chose to be a bad person, and you are responsible for that. If you're not a bad person, you chose not to be a bad person, and you are responsible for that. So take power in your ability to shape who you are based on the decisions that you make, whether they be good or they're bad, so that you take responsibility for your actions. Whether, say, you want to be the best sportsman of whatever sports it is, but you make no practice and no effort, you are responsible for that. You wanting to be the best, but you're not willing to put in the work for it. If you come out to be still the best, let me know what you took, because I want some of that too. No, but you're responsible for every decision that you make, no matter what the decision is, whether it be good or bad. And even if you even if you don't choose to be a bad, if you chose not to be a bad person, do understand that you made that decision too. You have chosen to not be a bad person, so that you have this again. It's the idea of power and responsibility over yourself, which is what Sadhguru is talking about. That you have no control over the external world, but anything that comes your way, it's absolutely under your control. You can let this crap that gets thrown on your face to make you an evil bad person because you have chosen to do that. But you can take this crap that was that was thrown at you and make you a more resilient and a better person because you have chosen to do that. Take responsibility for your actions.
Sadhguru, I think we today live in a society that is very goal-oriented, and we constantly. Sorry.
No, I'm the one who's losing my voice, not.
And I think we constantly look for numbers and tangible things to prove our achievements. And I think that people get so obsessed with their end goals that they forget to enjoy the process. For example, at LSC, a lot of people see their degree as a means to an end, and as a result, they forget to enjoy their time while they're here because all they think is like, oh, that career that this degree is going to bring me, or that place that this degree is going to bring me to. And so my question for you is, which is more important, the process or the end goal? And are we able to move forward if we only focus on the process?
I'm not going to say anything.
See, that's because a whole lot of people
I
have
talked too much
kind
already.
of wrongly conceived that life is some kind of a race. If life is a race, of course you must win. If you win, what should happen? You must get to the finish line first. You didn't get that? If it's a race, you must get to the finish line first, isn't it? That's the intent of a race. You know what's the finish line?
Death.
You know what's the finish line?
Of life.
You want to get there soon? No, we don't want to get there soon, isn't it? We will get there, we know, but we're not in a rush to get there, we do our best to see that we don't get there soon. So definitely this is not a race. So what is it that every human being is trying to achieve? Right now, being in an atmosphere like this, maybe you're thinking of profession, maybe a business, maybe getting to some place, I don't know, maybe you're trying to win an award or something, I don't know what. But you must understand, whether it's money or wealth or recognition, fame, name, whatever it is, essentially what you're trying to do is, you want to experience life a little more than the way it is right now. Somebody thinks it'll happen with knowledge, somebody thinks it'll happen with money, somebody thinks it'll happen with pleasure, somebody thinks it'll happen with, relationships or something else, doing something in the world, or somebody thinks it'll happen only when they go to heaven. But all of them are seeking the same thing. I want you to understand, the man who goes to the bar and the man who goes to the temple are seeking the same thing through different means, fulfillment, isn't it? Yes or no? I know, a lot of people don't like it. Hello? Religious people won't like it, but the fact of the matter is, everybody is seeking the same thing. You want your life to become larger than the way it is right now, isn't it? You want your experience of life to become more profound, more intense, more something. Why do you think half the people are on alcohol and drugs? Simply because they're seeking an experience. And they found chemicals are the easiest way to have a large experience. Tomorrow you're broken, that's another matter. But right now there is an experience. Why do people want to go to heaven? Because they think the experience out there is better than here. At least that's the marketing. That's what the advertisements say, at least. If it's such a great place, why don't you go today? No. You must be really psyched to want to go today. All others, just play with it to the extent it's comfortable. You're just trying to handle heaven, They're just trying to handle their psychological situation with heaven as a fruit up there. Because if you remove it, they'll get fearful. Where am I going then? But if you really believe it's a better place, you must be gone today before all these fools get there, isn't it? Hello? Because you want to be on the top of the class. So, we must understand this, that this is not a race. This is not a race. This is not something that you're going to win or lose. See, you don't have to fear about this life. It is not like LSE. You understand? You only if you study to a certain extent, only if you do this project, only if you write this paper, you will pass. It's not like that. Everybody shall pass here. Hello? This is not unfair like LSE. Everybody shall pass. Only question is, how profound is my experience of life, isn't it? How do you make it profound? That's a question. Right now, suppose I'm saying, just for example, suppose you start seeing something more than everybody else is seeing, would your life become somewhat profound compared to others? If you start hearing something more than others are hearing, would it become profound? Yes or no?
It all depends for me. I mean, just because you're seeing more doesn't necessarily mean what you're seeing is more profound. It could not be at all. Or
So
hearing
essentially, it's enhancement of your perception which makes you profound. So to enhance your perception, you drink, you drug, sexuality, food, this, that, a million things, success, money, destroy the whole damn planet just to make your experience little more profound. I'm saying all human experience, misery or joy, agony or ecstasy, anything or anything, everything comes from within you. Is it so? Hello? The stimuli may be from outside, but both pain and pleasure comes from within you, isn't it? If you just take charge of the fundamental process of what generates experience within you, the seat of your experience, if you sit there consciously, you can create any experience you want. Look at my eyes, I'm always stoned. Yeah. Never touched a substance, but always like this only. People wonder, how is it Sadhguru, 18-20 hours a day, non-stop, 7 days of the week, you're going on, you don't go crazy, how is it? Because I'm stoned all the time. Nothing seems to bother.
Stoned on what?
Huh?
Please tell me.
On life.
Is this human mechanism the most sophisticated and complex chemical factory on the planet? Is it? If you were a great manager of things, would you create very pleasurable chemistry or a messy chemistry? Because you decided you want to make it hard. If you were a good manager of things, would you make a pleasurable, enjoyable, ecstatic chemistry, or would you make miserable chemistry for yourself? What would you do?
Pleasurable, but…
Ecstatic.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the world wouldn't agree to that. The world would throw its own…
Why should the world agree? Huh?
Was he paying attention? He said that the world may throw crap in your face, the world will have external stimuli to your body, but you have absolute control over your body.
Yeah.
I'm blissed out. They don't agree, that's their problem.
No, like, the world will still throw its struggles and
They
challenges.
do, of course they do. Especially if the world is throwing things at you, is it not all the more important that you're blissed out? Hello? Especially the world has not necessarily by intention, they've become like that. Simply. Not necessarily because they hate you, simply people are throwing things at each other all the time.
I'm guessing he's struggling to understand that he doesn't seem to understand he has control over his body, his emotions. I believe right now his mental thinking is the fact that external things is what affects his emotions. So it's to say that his emotions are not in his control. It's the external factors that are in control of his emotions. Because he said, yes, but the world's still going to throw crap at you. So how are you blissed out if the world's throwing crap at you? I understand if the world's throwing good stuff at you, then yes, you'll be blissed out and happy. But if they're throwing crap, then you'd be sad and sorry. So with that kind of mentality, with that kind of thinking and that questioning, goes to show, at least from my understanding of, well, from my guess, that his emotions is based on external factors. Not He doesn't realize that his emotions is under his control yet.
Especially when you're living in a world like that, is it not very important? If the outside situation is not conducive, you keep yourself absolutely conducive for life. Is this not very important? But most people do not even know how to sit here peacefully. Forget about ecstasy in their life, they've never seen that. You have to pump some chemical into them for them to know some sense of blissfulness, otherwise they don't know that. I'll tell you. Can I tell you a situation?
Of course.
I was supposed to speak at Tel Aviv. I'm flying out of Atlanta. I am to land there in the morning, mid-morning, and speak at 6:30 in the evening. But due to some flight delays and stuff, and I land at 6 o'clock in the evening. So I'm traveling an American airline, nothing edible on the plane. So I'm famished, I'm super hungry. But I land at 6 o'clock, so I quickly change in the airport and I'm rushing to the venue because in this 37 years, as I said earlier, in this 37 years, I've never been late to a single event yet. So, though sometimes in a day I'm in 2 different countries, in 3 different cities, things like this, still I have not been late. This will take a lot of work because I don't want people who come on time to feel like idiots, isn't it? People who come on time must be honored. People who come late must be made to feel like idiots. But right now in most of the events, people who come on time are the idiots, people who come late are the important people. Isn't it? So unfortunately, social situations have become like this. So I'm rushing to the venue, and when I land at the venue, to my amazement, this doesn't happen at all to me, I am speaking at a fine restaurant. When you're this hungry, just the place to go. Then I walk in, people are already coming in, they're greeting me, and one man comes up to me and says, "Shalom." I ask him, "What does it mean?" He says, "This is the highest way of greeting." I say, "That's your opinion, but what does it mean?" He says, "No, this is really the highest way of greeting." I said, "Fine, what does the word mean?" He said, "It means peace." Then I say, "Why is peace the highest way of greeting unless you're born in Middle East?" In South India, if you come in the morning and say, "Peace," I'll say, "What's wrong with you?" So, anything we are deprived of, slowly we will export it to heaven. Today, if we say peace, we say divine peace. If you say love, divine love. If you say bliss, divine bliss. These are all things human beings are capable of. Hello? Are you capable? At least some moments in your life, you're peaceful, you're joyful, you're blissful. Does it happen to you? These are all human qualities. Certain idiots have exported it to heaven. And it's becoming harder and harder to get there. Now you're evolving a philosophy, how to suffer through my life and achieve something. What will you achieve? We'll just bury you. Or if you come to India, we'll burn you.
But that will happen anyways, you
Yes.
are meant to…
So anyway, it's going to happen. What is the most important thing? This life should find full expression in this limited amount of time that we have, isn't it? If you want to find full expression, find scientific and medical evidence to show you only when you're in pleasant states of experience will you find full expression to who you are. Does everybody endorse this, please? Hello? Many of you look too serious for me. Many people have become dead serious. When I look at the way they're walking on the street, I think they're practicing for the last pose. Please, I want to tell you, the last posture that you will have in your coffin or in your crematorium or wherever, believe me, it comes naturally. You don't have to practice it all your life. Grave. You know what the word grave means? Grave means you're practicing for the grave. No, you don't have to practice. Here you have to practice how to be alive. Death will come. It's life which can happen inefficiently. Death is always super efficient, isn't it so? Have you ever seen death happening inefficiently? Have you? So you don't have to practice it all your life. Life happens inefficiently. Whichever way we do it, there is a better way to do it. Huh? Whichever way you do it, still there is a better way to do it with life, isn't it? Death you can't do any better, you don't have to strive, it will happen perfectly, believe me. It doesn't need you.
Alright, I'm gonna pause it right here. Hold on. So I'll kind of go back to what Sadhguru was saying about halfway through this speech, about them talking about how people are, about the journey or the end of the journey. What's more important? Why not both? Saying, is it more important to? Jeez, if I could speak. So pause the video. I'm not going to play anymore. If you want to quit right here. So, is it more important to enjoy the journey, or is it more important to finish? Why not both? Why does it have to be one or the other? It could be situational for what you're trying to do. I'd say there's nothing wrong with necessarily speed running, if you understand the terminology, through something, through your college education. It's like, why you're a race, like Sadhguru was talking about. I want to give a different opinion here. And and what he kind of said closer towards the end, perhaps not this little bit, is the about you making yourself bliss, about making yourself joyful and pleasant. So if you're making yourself joyful and pleasant and speed running through college, then I see nothing wrong, because you're enjoying this speed run. You're enjoying this whatever, this, going through it really quickly. You're enjoying it. You're blissed out because of it. Again, and another way of looking at it too is that you don't want to sit in college for 8 years or 10 years or 12 years. That's not good. You want to obviously do it efficiently, but also not suffer from it. You want to get everything that you need and retain the information, and not just do the class, remember what you need to remember, and then once the class is over with, forget about it. I don't know if that's helpful. But yes, again, it's, it rethinks my thought about, the journey, the process, and the ending of this. Again, I guess there is no time limit. There's no, you got to finish in 10 minutes. If you want to speed run this, then 5 minutes. There's no real time of what is considered very fast or very slow. As long as you're enjoying the process and you're going super fast, you're enjoying the process. You could be doing it very slow, but you're enjoying the process, So there's many ways you could do it, but I guess the most important thing is not to suffer from it and to enjoy the process. So whether that's speed running through college or doing it in 1 year and 6 months for an 8-year course, or taking full 8 years. Of course, you want to get past certain requirements in life. You don't want to sit there for a very long time, because there are other things that you'd probably rather do. But again, enjoy the process. That's one of the most important things, is to enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, you're not doing something right. And don't get me wrong, as a normal human being, It's going to be tough to enjoy everything, but no, the more things you can enjoy, I think the better life you'll have. I enjoyed myself through college for sure. There are certain things I regret, I'm sure, but nothing I can do about it now, so I'm not going to suffer for it. I've already passed that portion of my life. It's in the past. There are things I could have done significantly better, but nothing I can do about it now, so I'm not going to worry about it. I have to move on with my life and try to make the best of it. So that's the end of part 2 of London Schools of Economics, Youth and Truth. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up the sound down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.